Everybody, and welcome to Bahrain for round 2 of the first season of F1 2020. Of course, as we all know it, turbos and bullet style. Joining me as always, well, as I say, as always, from now on, first full season, but every Friday from here on in, I will have a co-commentator, of course, Mr. Devon Alice.
Good evening, everybody. How you guys doing?
Yikes, I see I've got the same problem.
What's the problem? Oh, I also don't have sound.
No, exactly what I had last week. But it was only in Q1 last week, then from Q2 onwards we will sound, so yeah, let's see how this turns out. Because there was a couple of updates as well. Well, there was a patch in the week, so I'm not sure what they changed. They just hope it didn't affect it and it's just this session.
And let's see, I see Nismax is out on track already, Judge out. Everybody, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
already
10.
A couple of guys.
10, I mean the track is full, but okay.
They're eager to get out there, really eager.
I would have waited for a bit and
Speaking
maybe
about the Judge.
Gap.
Just riding on board here with Mr. Judge.
This is actually very weird. I can't hear the car.
Yeah, but you see there, yeah, I just checked on the stream just to switch on for comments and stuff, and let me just get that volume down, sorry about that. So yeah, we can clearly hear the commentary of course on the stream. It's just no car sounds at this time. But I had the same issue last week. Last week was also Q1 was quiet, it was only the commentators. And then from session 2 onwards I had sound. But you were fine last week in Q1, and now tonight in Q1 you also bang with no sound.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Commentators cursing ourselves tonight.
Yeah, well, let's hope that this doesn't last longer than Q1.
Let's hope it's just Q1, yeah, because otherwise it makes for a bit of a bad race. Yeah, very dull. I wanted to use the other word, but thanks, Devon.
Oh well. I hope everybody's nice and warm. It's a lovely day out, especially in this side of the world, in Cape Town. So wherever you are, welcome everybody. Judge on his flyer. I was going through some time trial of F1 2019 and I didn't really find the Judge. I'm riding on board Judge now quickly. I didn't find his time trial time of last year, but I did find it of this year, 1:28.4. So let's see. I know some of the guys still sandbag.
He's always crying, well, okay, if I say crying, complaining that he is too slow. But if you say a 1:28 versus what some of the other guys do, he's not that far off as you would expect him to be the way that he makes it sound. And so on Quentin with a 1:26.
1:26, my word.
Low 1:26.
So last year's, I just checked, last year Muna had the fastest time on time trial on my friends list. He had a 1:27.4, and they were very close between him and Gav, Force, Quentin, Kimi, Robin, Fernando. They were all very close. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 of them separated by 7 tenths. So close, very close.
But it's also But you also say it also just shows how quick F1 2020 is versus 19. Because a couple of guys have been saying the cars feel faster, there's more grip in the corners. So looking just at those time trials alone, compared to last year, the game definitely improved.
Yeah, let's see. Saf, so I see Quentin
RZDV and Nismax clearly. Just Nismax going to run again, but that RZDV lap, surely that's sandbagging at its best.
Yeah, I wonder what happened. This match probably just had a...
I see Hales just saying, go! Yeah, just qualifying, then we can really go. Oh wow, somebody runs off track. The Red Bull there, not sure if it's Pickle or Kimi. No, Pickle is in the pit, so that is Kimi. Kimi just getting out of the way. The other cars completely goes off track. Reminds me of a Judge back in the day. Judge would get off the track, he would drive on the grass just to make sure he gets out of your way.
I think I do the same thing, compromise my race a little bit. But I mean...
You'd rather compromise yourself than being the reason someone else's race got compromised.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to take out, say, the top 3 in a battle.
So what do you think, Matt tonight again, the podium?
Well, going on last week's battle between him and Kimi, it's pity Muna couldn't. I keep saying Muna. If I say
Not
Muna, guys, please forgive
Sebastian.
me. It's not Sebastian. If
Yeah, well, we
yeah,
know him as Muna, we know him as
but
not Sebastian. The guys who are watching the stream will see not Sebastian. So, yeah, you need to get
yeah,
used to not Sebastian.
but yeah. If he joined in that battle last week, I mean, he had a great battle with Gav as well. But I mean, if the likes of Kimi and Meta, Nizmax, Muna, if they're battling again, it would be great. There might be one or two surprises. I'm not gonna, don't want to curse anybody. I'm not gonna commentate this
Yeah,
curse,
but
but
it's
there
about, it was
might
sad
be
last
a
week with that
few.
front wing damage that not
Yeah,
Sebastian got, because if it wasn't for that, I think we would have been in for a awesome time. Of course, as the spectators, we would have had a four-way battle. We only ended up with three in the end. But again, nice comeback here from Wazi and Matter. Of
yeah.
course, Matter also got a penalty under the yellows, but fought back nicely after the drive-through. So did not Sebastian. Of course, at the end of the day, the commentators were deadlocked with a drive of the day. One said not Gimme, one said Matter, and in the end they shared the points for drive of the day. Because that is something new that we introduced this season. Extra 5 points for drive of the day as adjudicated by the commentators.
5 points? I thought it was 1 point.
No, 5 points.
Oh, okay.
The
My
only
bad.
1 point is from position 16 to 20. So anybody that finishes outside the top 15 gets 1 point.
Ah,
So you still get a point for finishing. Points is pretty much from first to 15. Then
Muna goes second.
there's the extra 2 points for the fastest lap, and then pole position gives you 6 extra points.
Ah.
So it's
I
worth
must say,
fighting for that pole.
it is worth it. I mean, I think that is how Muna is third in the champion, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
He had
yeah,
a bit of a I wouldn't say horrendous, but he had a little bit of issues last week
yeah,
in
the
his race.
front wing, of course, as I
Yeah.
managed. Thank you,
But
Steph. Finally. Yeah,
did he get some weather
but then
invite?
again, we don't expect rain in the desert of Bahrain. But he's just confirming that there's no rain.
Ooh, and not Fernando goes ninth fastest with a
Yeah, Steph.
127.5.
It was posted long ago on the rightful spot. There's a info group for a reason. Would help if you read now and then. Matt is still in the
Still in the
pits.
pit, but
Just
it looks.
we actually spot
No,
the
so
same thing here. Just under 10 minutes. 80 on the out lap. I see Pickle also on the hot lap. So the only guy really not blinking as yet is Matt.
Well, I mean, 9 minutes left in Q1, still a lot of time. Expect those times
But
to fall.
watch, Matt's gonna come here at the moment and come up with
Ooh.
a blinder. Of course, this is
Legend
just to
goes
make sure
third.
this is just to go through to the next quali. Of course, 19 drivers in tonight, so one more compared to last week. 4 of them will be eliminated. Of course, out of a grid of 20 it's normally 5, and of course then another 5. So the bottom 4 to be eliminated at the end of the session. So I'm sure Matt will definitely make it through, and he is now on his out lap.
He's on his outlap, yeah, giving some space. I think that is Nizmax in front of him. No, Pickle. I think that is
Because
Pickle
we
in
just
front
need to
of.
figure out, but some people like tonight Staffy, they change their drivers, so depending who they choose, because if you, for argument's sake, if Nismax choose Vettel, then we know he's going to be number 5. Because that's, of course, the one downside this year. Like in previous versions, even if you drive a Ferrari or being at a Red Bull, doesn't matter. Your number that you select, of course, when you create your profile, that number will be on the car. Of course, this year it's not the case. The driver in real life whose car that is, their numbers stay on the car. So, where for argument's sake, Matter will drive with a 69 normally, you will see him with a 3 on that Renault, which is Daniel Ricciardo's car in real life. So it's not their own numbers, that's the actual numbers as is in real life. So if they can actually choose
Ooh,
the
he runs
same
wide.
rider every week, then we might be able to spot them just on the numbers.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a little bit difficult for now, but we'll make it work for anybody. I don't know about you, but this game looks very pretty. It looks very, very pretty.
Look.
That Reynolds of Matter looks very pretty under the lights.
They come out every year, there's actually improvements. A couple of guys, I believe, are just a bit too judgmental. They got too used to criticizing Codemasters. And yes, there is still room for improvement, but then again, everything in life, nothing is perfect, so there's always room for improvement. But I honestly believe Codemasters has come a long way from the first time we started with F1. So
Yeah.
last year we saw the multiplayer cars. And the very next year, you have the option now of having your own team actually on the grid. And that
Well,
is
you've
what a
been
lot
playing
of
that.
people have been asking for a while. And that's what I wanted to see in F1, and we finally got it.
Well, you've been playing it. How's that been?
And I mean, even this, what you see, what I'm doing there now, if you watch the YouTube stream, this view, what I'm doing here is something new that we introduced on the spectator mode. Where you can actually ride on board and check left, right, and behind. So there's actually a few tweaks made to this version. Definitely by far the most. And to answer your question, I actually like my team mode. I haven't touched driver career. My team is actually intriguing. Oh, Matt invalidates his lap in the very last corner.
Oh, well, he's got 5
So I'll
minutes.
have to
Hopefully he's
go
got the
again.
fuel.
See,
He's got
that's the
some
one
fuel on
risk
car.
if you leave it for very late. You need to be spot on. You can't make any errors. So luckily, he went out early enough to leave himself some space to hit back. So yeah, that my team is actually nice. That you actually have to, of course, not just build up your own car like, with your R&D, but also you need to boost your relevant departments, spend funds towards it, sign your own second
Yeah.
driver, negotiate. And what's nice is when you get to a new driver, you actually it's like an auction. A whole minute that you have to auction with another team or so who want the driver. So you need to go all
Oh.
clever about it.
I don't know if you just saw that. I was riding on board with AD. Sorry to just speak about something else. AD just stopped and he's back in the pit. I'm not sure what happened there. Could be connection issue, but he was on the track doing an outlap and then back in the pit.
Yeah, but even if it's a disconnect, then
But
the AI would return the car to the pits, and it doesn't just jump to the pits. It's not
Yeah, that
like
was
Project Cars, because you
That
used to
was
see
very
that. Because Project Cars, you just go return to pits. You don't need to drive all the way back. Force,
Yeah,
of
that
course,
was a bit
making a
weird.
return tonight. Force teammate there of Matter in of course that other Renault.
Yeah, Force actually did a 126 flat in time trial, so he's a little way off.
He brought the time down nicely because at one stage he was like mid 126.
I just went to go check now, just before we came on here. Just went to go check.
Looks
Rob
like
obviously sandbagging.
Matter messed up his lap again.
Ooh, Rob obviously sandbagging. He can actually go 3 seconds faster.
Already 7 laps, now only 7th lap. And a 129 in the elimination sector. I know he can go faster. Versus
Yeah.
sandbagging because he wants to start at the back. Which is not necessarily a bad place to start, especially on a full grid like this. But if everybody brings their own game, their A game I mean, if they all pitch up and they drive properly, then last place is not going to be the best place because now you're going to have to fight for position. So yeah, it's all part of a strategy, but you also need things to go your way and that strategy to work out. Otherwise, it's a gamble which is not going to pay off.
Well, you also run the risk of damaging a front wing. Especially in turn 1. So
I see Steph just saying, yeah, and it's something I noticed, safety car a bit buggered up in especially career mode. I haven't, well, yeah, we saw one briefly last week with online. Wasn't too bad, but in career mode, it's like you get penalized when you pit under the safety car, which you can do, which is weird. And also the timing sometimes. I did a race this afternoon, just yellow flag at the start of a race, no crashing, nothing. Just yellow flags and the car's going a bit slowly, all of a sudden safety car. So, not sure about the sensitivity around the safety car as yet. Still early days. Of course, the game's only, about 3 weeks old now.
Matt goes third fastest. Force retires.
Finally,
Force had to
Matt finally got a time on the board. Of course, For Staffy now as well, yeah, now they definitely through to the next session. In the drop zone at the moment, in the drop zone is Pickle, Springbok Gamer, Carter Boy, and Judge.
Judge and Atties, or Judge and Springbok Gamers actually on an outlap, so let's see the rider ball with Judge.
Okay, I've got Springbok Gamer this side, but yeah, let's have a look at Judge as well.
HSC down into turn 1, turn 2. I actually don't have the turn names this week with me. What a pity.
Yeah, but it's not like the old days. All these newer tracks that came in recent years, they literally call it turn 1, turn 2, turn 3.
Yeah.
It's not like the old tracks that still have names attached to the corners. So that's how you know which tracks are actually on the calendar for a long time. Talk about calendar. How do you like?
I was about
what
to go.
What about the news? The news announced today we're actually getting an extra free track.
Yeah, I never thought I would actually see F1 cars going around Imola again.
And potentially that will be the last race of the season, of course, if nothing more gets confirmed. But yeah, we now got we got 3 races in Italy. And of course, the nice part about Italy, it's not like Austria, where it's the same track, just called it something else, or now what's coming up this weekend and next week in Silverstone, where they also call it something else on the second time, which is going to be the 70th anniversary. Unlike that, although it's 3 times Italy, all 3 times are on a different track.
Yeah. Oh, and Judge.
Of course, we got Monza, Mugello, home of Ferrari, and of course, Venus Imola. And we also got Germany on the calendar.
Nürburgring, very nice, very lovely. Yeah, I believe it is Ferrari's thousands.
Carter Boy retired, so Carter Boy confirmed, eliminated. Winner now retired. Springbok Gamer comes around, starts finish line. He will have enough time for another lap. Just cross the line in time.
Ooh, and Judge locks up a little bit.
More and more guys retire now, of course. Those guys sitting in the pits, they're all through. And another lockup there for Judge. But I also heard a lot of guys saying that the lockup stuff for the braking is not as bad as it was on the previous one.
Serious? Okay. I've spent a little time in my teams. I've spent a little time on track with multiplayer. But that's it. I haven't done too much time.
G Pickle is out, so Caraboy and Pickle is out. They confirmed eliminated. Looks like Judge is going slow. Coming around now. No, Judge also eliminated. Springbok Gamer. Can he do something about his time? That will then ultimately kick down RJDV if he can get up there. Pretty much everybody from 1 to 14th is safe.
Judge.
Let's see, coming through now. Springbok Gamer cross the line. Oh, and he does kick down RJDV. Woo! Springbok Gamer goes through, RJDV eliminated.
But like you said, he did mention he wants to start at the back.
Right at the last moment that you can do it. No time on the clock anymore, and he's done it, and like you say, with the smallest of margins.
By a 10th.
But fact remains, it doesn't matter how much. He went quicker, he's through, RGDV is not. So we're just waiting for those last guys to hit that retire button, and then we can get Q2 underway.
Hopefully we get sound in Q2. I was just looking at my little notes I've got here. Pole last year, Charles Leclerc with a 127.8, and they already surpassed that time.
Yeah, but we don't know what the cars were like in this season because there was no Bahrain. So I don't think we can really compare.
Yeah, true. Very true. 80 went 11th fastest? Okay.
So the only guy without a teammate tonight is Boinkies when we asked, but his teammate is pretty much back from next week. It just speaks back to guys getting their hands on the games because of shipment delays and stuff across the world. But I believe from next week we will have Chen on the grid as well. Teammate. So if all goes well, we should be 20 from next week.
Oh, that would be very lovely.
But already 19, yeah, full grid tonight.
3 wide into turn 1.
Oh,
3 wide.
Everybody's looking forward to it. Of course, just confirming what we already know, who's through and who got eliminated. I'm not going to really go into detail now because this was just call it the dress rehearsal if you want. I Q2 and then that poll shootout in Q3. But as you can see, RZDV, Pickle, Carterboy and Judge, the guys eliminated after Q1. But I think Judge will also be happy, really happy to start with the back. Let these guys in front of him trip over each other and he picks up the places. And it happened before. He's well for a long game.
Yeah, it's
like you always say. You can't win it in the first corner, but you sure as hell can lose it, and Judge knows that.
Exactly. That's a long race though.
Oh yes. 55 laps.
Yeah, 308 kilometers.
No, 57 laps. Sorry, 57 laps.
From me, if I have to drive. Oh, I can hear sound.
Yeah, I can also hear. We're back. So maybe it's going to be every time in Q1, so we can have Q1 in silence and then it starts. So we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, I hope not, though.
Same here.
I hope not. Anyway,
it's weird. It's weird not having that background sound while you're talking.
I remember last year I did it in the game as well. You couldn't hear. You couldn't hear sounds because I drove a few races last year and I couldn't hear sound.
No, guys did complain about that.
But I could hear, and it came back. It usually came back.
Safwan Quinton on his way out. First guy out. But also, if you look at the build-up, there was lots of talks this week. Basically, guys were friendly banter, a lot of remarks going up and down. But there wasn't that much banter or talk leading up to the. Because Vietnam, new track, new on the calendar this year, not a lot known about it, not a lot of confidence. And you could actually see in the build-up to the race. This week was a different story, a lot more confidence, a lot more guys being vocal leading up to this race. So maybe it's confidence, or now the guys just feel the banter because they're heading to a track that they're more familiar with.
Yeah, plus I suppose last week was a little bit of nerves, like you said, new track, new season, new game. Get that out of the way, and now basically back to routine.
I see Rob just coming out to say that was crap. Yeah, Rob, you're becoming you're becoming like Gaff. Crap is being associated, is becoming synonymous with the name RZDV. Mr. Akers cock. But yeah, I don't think that you're going to actually cry over that because you started the back. It worked out last week as well, so why can't it work out again? Just keep your nose clean and don't let someone run your wing off, otherwise that strategy is down the drain.
Yeah, I actually want to see some quickly. Who's got what tires on? This is Q2.
Yeah, no, I already got that out on my side, so we got 5 guys. I'm not going to say, because I know Staffy is one of them that comes to mind. So Devin, of course, a lot of talks this week from the drivers. Yeah. My co-commentator must just be watchful of what he likes to mention on the stream. A couple of guys they have a stream on purpose so that they can hear what you. And that's how they fish out strategies, etc. from other guys. So just watch what you say here.
Team radio. Team radio. Anyway, but yeah, if you are on Twitch right now, good luck with the race tonight. If you are on Twitch, you can actually see currently who's doing what. So I'll just quickly take that away.
The fact is, you can. It's there. It's not that we're hiding it. Yeah, but I'm not showing. But I'm not showing all bit of information. But look, the tire thing is not a secret. But I'm not going to say it. If they really, course and what, or compromise here, whatever. Oh, and Quinton breaks into the 125, so 125.9. Vino, of course, happy to. He just missed last round. Wasn't sure if he's gonna make it, but was confirmed this week that he actually do want to drive. And with that seat that went open this week, Vino stepped in and took the seat Alpha Tauri there. So Staffy also got a teammate, just like Matt. So the only one still without a teammate, just as I said earlier, is Boinkies Van Baas, but also not for long.
See, Gav goes second quickest. Quinton goes.
But it's, yeah,
quickest.
6 tenths. But the thing is, Gav is a bit off still, but I believe Gav can still go faster than it. Same with not Sebastian, but of course he's just he's on a different compound, different strategy. To the next session, and don't be too hard on the tyres, because whatever you post your fastest lap on is what you need to start the race on. Important is the next session when everybody's going to be on the same tyre. Should do the shootout for that pole.
Yeah, this is interesting. If you are riding a pole, okay, Matt just dives into the pits. This tyre choice was a little bit interesting. I thought at this moment in time.